For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Emil. I am a photographer based in South Africa, and I am currently today walking around Giba Gorge and the Mulwani Valley testing out a brand new filter system from Nisi, the JetMag Pro filter system. This is a pretty cool new filter system that, like some other filter systems that have been on the market for a couple of years, has a magnetic catch system to be able to take your filters on and off the camera itself. It's brand new. It was released last month by Nisi internationally, and it is already in various countries and on sale around the world. Is this new JetMag system better than the existing square filter systems that Nisi has brought out, or the existing Swift system, which was also a filter system that allowed easy push on and pull off of its filters? You can check out the video in the corner that I will put up, which gives you sort of indication of my thoughts between the Nisi Swift system and the V7 square 100mm square filter system that I've been using for the last 6 or 7 years, in fact. Before I get into this video on the JetMag Pro system, I think I should make it aware that I am an ambassador for Nisi in South Africa. What that means is that sometimes I do get filters that are sent through to me that I can use, but for the most part I still have to buy my own filters. So although I do get the occasional free filter from Nisi, like you, I also purchase them, and I purchase them out of choice. So what exactly is the JetMag Pro system? The JetMag Pro system is a series of adapter rings with a magnetic insert that then clips to, or clicks on magnetically to, the actual aircraft grade aluminium frame of the filter itself, which means that you can very rapidly change the filters between your lenses. This is the same glass that Nisi have used with all of their other filter systems, so it means that you have very color accurate, very durable glass in the filters themselves. They are nano coated, which means that water basically just beads off of it. It is also nano coated such that it is slightly tougher than other glass filters. So it means that you're less likely to get scratches from usage, from cleaning, and even if you drop the filters themselves, it is less likely to break, particularly because it has a metal frame around the filter itself. This is a downside to square filters, incidentally, which when you drop it, it makes a rather expensive smashing sound. What's cool about the JetMag system is, of course, that the actual independent rings themselves can stay locked onto the lens if you would like it to. So you get, when you buy, for instance, the Nisi landscape kit, it comes with a 3-stop, 6-stop, 10-stop, and a true color circular polarizer, which you can now interchange between all of your lenses. But importantly, it also has 4 adapter rings: 67, 72, 77, and 82mm rings, which you can basically leave locked onto your cameras if you would like to, because along with the rings, you can also purchase these metal lens caps. The lens cap itself obviously just clicks on with the magnet and can also rotate into a locked position. More on that in a moment. Adding your JetMag Pro filters to your lens is simplicity itself, because essentially all you need is an adapter ring, and then thereafter when you want to add a filter, all you do is you drop the filter onto the magnetic rings, clicks into place, and if you want to lock it into place, you rotate it until the little grab handle is in line with the engraved notch on the adapter ring itself. After that, it means that your filter is firmly secured onto your lens and will not drop off, which is really pretty cool, knowing that my filters are safe when they're on the front of my lens itself. Changing filters is an absolute dream, because it means that if your other lenses also have adapter rings on them, you don't have to do any more threading. You literally just take one filter and drop it onto the next lens. So what Nisi have tried to do is simplify how photographers can use filters, as well as simplify the process between changing them between lenses. You can also purchase individual components like the actual adapter rings and additional lens caps and rear filter caps as well, so that you can even store your filters in a stack of filters, if you will, rather than using them inside the bags, which are essentially just repurposed circular filter bags. So it means that you have this little nice concertina shape and you can access your filters really easily. Some critics would say that Nisi were basically copying everybody else and that they were just sitting on their hands selling their other systems rather than using or developing a magnetic filter system like the JetMag Pro. Having spoken to the distributors in South Africa and who have had access obviously at the trade shows and talking to Nisi directly during the development of the filters, they were trying to make sure that the JetMag Pro filters were not plagued by some of the other issues that other magnetic filter systems have had, to wit, the fact that filters can actually fall off the lens itself, jolt the camera with enough of a bang, and that filters have been known to drop off the front of the lens itself and into the stream that you're working on, or onto rocks and breaking, etc., etc. What Nisi were trying to do was come up with a system that was more durable and safer to use for the filters that you're going to be putting on your lens itself. Because, let's face it, filters are not cheap. And this is where the filter system is different to those other magnetic systems on the market, in that it has a locking notch on the filter system itself. And when the filters are locked into that locking notch, it means you can actually literally pick up your camera and hold it by the filters and it will not drop off. It is that sturdy. It'll hold your camera with that much weight. For the most part though, as you can see, it's not going to fall off. It's there, it's stuck, but you've got to be aware that if you put weight on it, it might come off when it's not in its lock position. What is really cool about the system is that it has been designed with moving filters in mind. So the polarizer, for instance, which is just a single piece of glass, like all the other filters, can also rotate on the front of the adapter ring itself. The downside to any circular filter system, of course, is that it doesn't have any graduated neutral density filters. This is one of the huge plus sides to using the square filter system. Nisi have said, and at the moment it doesn't exist, but they have said to their distributors, they have indicated that they are busy working on a square filter system for the JetMag Pro, which means that you will be able to take your existing square filters and you would be able to place them in front onto your JetMag Pro system. Doesn't exist yet. Okay, it's not there at the moment as of me recording this in November 2024. We do know that it is on its way, along with a variable neutral density filter. What we're expecting is essentially a filter holder for the square filter system that you already have that will mount onto these magnetic adapter rings. They've also said that they're going to be bringing out a matte box for videographers and cinematographers, as well as a variable neutral density filter that will also be able to work with the JetMag Pro adapters. What they've basically done is they've updated their entire system so that the filters will be more easily placed on the lenses themselves and will be cross-compatible across the range eventually. At the moment, all we have is the 82mm filter system, but the promise is that that is going to be expanded. When the Swift filter system came out, it was a really simple and easy to use system, and very, very popular with photographers who latched onto it very quickly, particularly those who don't like using complex, heavier, and somewhat more finicky square filter system for their photography. The downside to the Swift system, though, was that it is ever so slightly small. So it meant that when you were using it on a wide angle, like a 16mm lens, this one over here, you would get vignetting on the edges of your frame as soon as you went past 19mm with two filters on your lens. You didn't get vignetting necessarily with one filter, but with two filters, you were guaranteed to get vignetting till about 19mm on your full frame camera. The JetMag system is slightly larger with thinner frames because of the fact that it has got magnets built into it, and it means that you don't get vignetting all the way down to using two filters on a 16mm lens. This is fairly important because a lot of photographers would use a true color circular polarizer along with a neutral density filter when they're photographing waterfalls or the ocean or other types of landscapes. So it's critical that you didn't have any vignetting with a 16mm lens with two filters. Three filters, you're going to start getting a little bit of vignetting on the very edges of the frame. Two filters, you don't have that problem. So in some ways, the square filter system is still potentially slightly superior in that you can get up to three filters and a circular polarizer onto your square V7 mount. And with the 16mm focused at infinity, you still won't get any vignetting. Of course, as you focus closer, the lens breathing means that you do get vignetting on the edges, even with any of the filters put on, unless you remove the two front rails from your V7 system, meaning that it can only accept two filters and a polarizer anyway. So in some ways, the JetMag Pro is now equivalent to what you would have expected to get out of a V7 square 100mm filter system. Okay, but I'm not going to just sing the praises of the JetMag Pro system because there are some caveats to using it. What can happen is that in your bag, the filter can jostle and joggle, and then suddenly the lens cap can just come off. So do be aware that although it has a locking system, it is not fail-proof. The locking system itself is still one that is superior to anything else that I've used in the past. You just need to be aware that inside a bag there is the potential for the lens cap to be knocked off if you haven't packed your bag properly. Nisi have been really clever in trying to make it so it's easy to be able to look through your filter stack and figure out which filters you have. So as a result, what they have given us is a range of colors to indicate the filters that you're using. And you'll see the colors on the little finger mount ring or the finger mount notch on the side of the filter itself. So over here I have a 10 stop neutral density filter. It has a little blue catch on the side, so I know that it is a neutral density filter by the fact that it is blue. The problem, of course, is that there is my 3-stop filter. It also has a little blue catch, exactly the same as the 10-stop filter. The differentiation is between the different types of filters. Silver is circular polarizer, dark gray is lens cap, blue is neutral density, and all the other colors I'm going to put into a little list on the side of the screen over here so you can see how they're differentiated. This is great if you happen to have 3 different types of filters, but if you're only using neutral densities, it's suddenly a lot harder to select the filters that you're using, particularly as there is rather small writing on the side that indicates what type of filter it is that you are putting or wanting to put on the front of your lens itself. It's no more difficult than when you were using obviously the 100mm square filters, but it does mean that it isn't a quick glance and you can see which filters they are, which you did have with the Swift system, because of course there gold was a 10-stop neutral density, green was a 6-stop neutral density, and blue was a 3-stop neutral density. Silver was circular polarizer, as it remains so with the JetMag Pro system. For me, the really important part of the JetMag Pro is not only its durability, but how simple and quick it is to use. A lot of photographers have gotten into using filters and they will buy the square filter system and they just won't use it because it's too finicky, it's complex, it's heavy. The JetMag Pro system, on the other hand, is lighter. I'll put the weights on the side over here so you can see the equivalents because I can't actually remember them offhand. But it is lighter, it is a lot easier to use, it's more durable, there's less chance of you breaking those filters because unlike the square filter system, you have this aluminium frame around the side of the filter which keeps it safe, essentially if you drop it onto rocks or something like that. The square filter system, I know too many photographers, and I include myself in this, who have spent quite a lot of money on filters that have fallen and smashed. And it's never a nice thing to have to replace a piece of glass at that cost. It would also be remiss of me not to point out the fact that the new JetMag Pro system is also significantly cheaper ultimately than the 100mm square filter system. Just as a case in point, if we look at the cost of an individual neutral density filter, it comes to around 1,600 Rand. If we look at the Explorer range, which is the more affordable 100mm filter, that's 3,300 Rand. So for double the price, you can go into the square filter system. With my use of the filter system at the moment, when I'd finished using the Swift filter system, I actually said in the video that it wasn't going to replace my square filter system. I don't have the same conclusion with the JetMag Pro. The JetMag Pro is just better in about every way that you can imagine. The filters can be better. I do see myself replacing my square filter system with the JetMag Pro, particularly once the 100mm filter holder comes out, because then that graduated neutral density filter, which I still think is fairly important, is now going to be compatible with my circular neutral densities and a polarizer, which I absolutely adore because it is so simple to switch between lenses. So yeah, I actually see myself converting completely over to the JetMag Pro system now because it's that good. Right, that's me and JetMag filters. If you've enjoyed the video, if you found it useful, please remember to pop a like and a subscribe into the various blocks around the YouTube screen. If you've got any more questions related to the JetMag Pro system, drop them into the comments section below and I'll try and get to them as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, and again, I hope to see you on the next one. Cheers.